You know, one of the hallmarks of knowing somebody has a relationship with God is seeing a transformed life. But then there's a dilemma because there's a lot of people in other religions who also seem to have transformed lives. So what most people will assume is that, well, since other people have the same claim to have a transformed life, then that means nobody is really following a true religion, or no one's following a true God, because people make the same claim. But just because there's different forms of things, or there's different versions of things, doesn't mean you can cancel them all out and say they're false. For an example, it's actually a remote control bird that is out right now. And if you see it flying, from a distance, you would think it's a regular bird. And if you see it even up close, you'll be like, wow, this is doing a real good job of flying. It's doing very good. But for you to assume that this is the original, or for you to assume, well, because there's a remote control bird, then there can't be, real birds. Real birds must be, just as fake as this one. That's just not good logic. As a matter of fact, when you see different versions of something, that is usually letting you know that these are copies of something that is real. Because the truth is, all God's ways are good. And because there is a true religion, and because there are people that have been transformed by God, you also have other people for different kinds of reasons, whether it's from the way they've grown up or for self-righteous reasons. They will duplicate what they have seen in a true born-again believer. So they will see some of the ways that have been portrayed by a true believer. Practically every religion has different good qualities. And this is because God has given us a conscience. And because we have this conscience that is God-given, we do know a lot of his ways just naturally. Right here, Psalm 25:10. All the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth to such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. Every way of God is right. And for us to pick out some of them and notice that some of them are good isn't really, it doesn't take a born-again believer. And it doesn't take someone being a Christian to do this. So people have different reasons for following different religions, but this wouldn't make them true. Another place we see this being done is in flood stories. There's hundreds and hundreds of flood stories all over the earth. And for some reason, people will look at all these different flood stories and then assume, oh, well, they must all be fake because there's so many different ones. But that's not the way I see it. The way I see it is because there's so many different flood stories, there must have been one original flood that all these cultures are trying to capture and tell the story of. This is the same thing with religion. There is one true religion. There's one true God. And everybody's trying their best to duplicate the one true God. Everybody's trying their best to duplicate what is true. The one God who created all things, who is outside of time, space, and matter, is the God of the Bible, Yahweh. And you know what? He works all things out. Even the people who do not claim him, he still has a certain control because everybody is under God's secret will. There's some things that he's going to do no matter what. And they're going to be done not only through the people who follow him faithfully, but even the people who do not follow him. They have no idea, but they are still under God's control. Even the evil things they do are towards God's ultimate purpose. Right here, Proverbs 16:4. The Lord has made all for himself, yes, even the wicked for the day of doom. So everything we choose to do, even if we choose to follow a different religion, it's still going to work out for God's ultimate plan. Just like we saw in the life of Job, there's a lot of things that went wrong. Just like we saw from the people who crucified Jesus, there's a lot of things that they did wrong, but they were all worked out for his ultimate purpose. There's only one true religion. There's only one true transformed life, and that is the life of the reborn Christian. Something to think about.